Yes everybody, what's going on? My name is Stephen Howson. This is the transfer review. It's international break, which means there is no full-time review. That's back after the Watford game. But we are going to talk about transfers because you know why? Because people are writing utter bollocks about transfers, so we're going to talk about it. First one that we are going to talk about is Ruben Neves. Now, the Metro, and just strap yourselves in, sit tight, because this is going to be a Metro special edition of the transfer review, and he's one geezer in particular. Now, what he's writing about is that Ruben Neves is going to be tempted by Manchester United and Manchester City in the January transfer window because United and City can't just go and buy players on their own, can they? They have to go head-to-head for those players. Now, it makes a lot of sense if you're assuming that Paul Pogba has left Manchester United, and we'll get to that in a little bit, and you look at Manchester City, who did want Jorginho in the summer and now didn't get him, and unfortunately for us, this transfer makes a lot of sense to both Manchester clubs. There's also a lot of links linking George Mendes, the player's agent, in Manchester City and here at Old Trafford as well. That's an absolute nightmare when it comes to trying to figure out what is going on with this transfer. 60 million is the quoted fee. I'm thinking that, look, there's probably a massive transfer on the horizon for the guy, probably next summer, certainly the summer after. January, I mean, he's done all right, hasn't he? Feels a bit too soon for this, so I'm going to say right now, I'm giving it a 1 out of 10. Next up on the agenda is Dybala. Now, Dybala is a player that's been liked by a lot of Manchester United fans. He's been linked here, there and everywhere. He's a very good footballer, but it's not really clicking for him at Juventus at the moment. There's a lot of people saying, do you know what, he should be doing better. The potential is there. Sounds very familiar, that, doesn't it? Now, a lot of people are suggesting that there's going to be a swap, which involves Paul Pogba going back to Juventus and Dybala coming this way. Now, I would put it to you that Manchester United's desires, needs, wants, wishes, shortlists and everything else don't revolve around people in the final third, because we're pretty stacked there, aren't we, at the moment? If anything, Jose Mourinho was going to be selling family members for a defender in the summer, so there's no way that he's going to be like, yeah, sod it, we're going to play a 1-1-8 formation. How about that? No, it's not going to happen like that. So there's a lot of talk that Dybala's going to be involved, and you know what? If a certain Mr. Woo-Wah wants to sign somebody like that, then maybe we will sign somebody like that, but I don't think it's what Manchester United need. I certainly don't think it's what we need right now, so I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. But before we finish on the Dybala saga, which I've just made up, this was my favourite report in all of it. So the Bristol Post, that well-known Manchester United source, are like, Manchester United linked to the new Messi. Who could it possibly be? This next unknown wonder kid that's about to burst onto the scene from an unknown club. Oh, it's Dybala. It's Dybala. Who doesn't know who Dybala is? He's 24, he plays for Juventus, and he's been in how many World Cups and internationals? Stop it. You believe all of the lorries that have to come into this fucking shipping container park here, and it's the worst access road into Manchester ever from the motorway. Next up for us to talk about then is Will.i.am. Now, Willian has come out in an interview with Chelsea, celebrating his 5 years at the club, and he says, I never said I wanted to leave Chelsea. Never. They say a lot of things in the press. I never said I wanted to leave Chelsea. Never. Okay, that doesn't mean that you didn't want to leave Chelsea, is it? You're not saying that you didn't want to leave. You just said that you never said you wanted to leave. Listen, mate, Lance Armstrong never failed a drug test either, if you're catching what I'm throwing. And don't pretend, like, what is it about people that have to rewrite history? Like, I didn't see you leave Wembley before we did after the FA Cup final. Like, you didn't cover up Conte with all the little trophies and stuff. Listen, my friend, we know that there was a move on and it didn't come off. That's life. I guess you've got to carry on with what you've got. Willian to United is something that I think Jose Mourinho would like to happen. I think Willian would like to happen. But I think the ship might have sailed on this one. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10 at the moment. So Bleacher Report are talking about Lucas Hernandez, and they're quoting the Star, which is quoting a France Football article. You know the way this goes around, and now we are in that chain as well, quoting everybody who's quoting everything else. But I'm not going to tell you that this is all going off, because let's make some sense of this, because this is what we do right here on the transfer review. Now, Lucas Hernandez has been playing primarily as a left-back this season. He can play centre-half, but let's face it, he's a left-back. Now, why would you be paying £72 million for a left-back when you've got Luke Shaw in the form of his life? When we absolutely desperately need a centre-half and we couldn't find anything down the back of the couch to go and pay for Toby Alderweireld. Why does that not make any sense whatsoever? Why? Journalists, pick your game up, man. He's also linked to Real Madrid, which means he's probably going to Real Madrid if he's going anywhere. Although, going from Atletico to Real, don't know, maybe don't like his windows. Lucas Hernandez to United, 1 out of 10. Caught offside, I've caught a whopper here with this one. They're saying even Rakitic drops a massive hint he was coming to Manchester United. No, he doesn't. He says there was a lot of talk, but I spoke with my wife and we decided it would be very hard to leave Barcelona. But he doesn't name any club. In the article they say, when asked about Manchester United and other clubs, no, just stop trying to link United to everything. Stop it. Rakitic to United, 1 out of 10. A debut on a transfer review for Michael.com. You guys are going to have to tell me what you know about this because I don't know anything about them. And I say Manchester United have been dealt a blow because everything has to be extreme. And that's because Harry Maguire has signed a bumper new contract worth 80 grand a week. Ka-ching! But why is this a blow to Manchester United? Because as we all know, United are paying £900,000 to Sanchez a week, aren't we? Or it might be $1 million now. 1.1. 1.2. Why is 80 grand a week a problem for Manchester United? If Manchester United want him and they can agree a fee with Leicester, 80 grand a week is absolutely nothing in it. I believe we're paying Ashley Young about 130. So 80 grand a week, not a drama. Knock yourself out, son. Harry Maguire to Manchester United now. You was going to think I was going to say 1 out of 10 then, didn't you? I actually think Harry Maguire, as well as Toby Alderweireld, are still possibilities for United in January. There's no way that we don't need a centre-half. If anything, the first 4 games have shown us that we absolutely need a centre-half. Harry Maguire fits the bill, the big old slabhead. Let's get him in. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10 for this one. Speaking of old slabheads, John Terry. Now, John Terry's 37. He's also without a club, which puts him about this much ahead of me in reality, doesn't it? Unfortunately, you have to give this rumour a bit of credence because it's not unlike Jose Mourinho to bring someone in that he considers a leader, he considers an ally. That's on the wrong end of 35, is it? We've seen that before, haven't we? John Terry's currently without a club. He was decent in the Championship last year. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. He wasn't amazing. He wasn't Player of the Year anywhere. It was all right. It was decent. Premier League at 37, whole different ball game. Is he better than Phil Jones? There's loads of you in the comments I know are going to be like, absolutely, yes, he is. I don't think he is. I don't think he's better than anyone that we've currently got now. Leadership qualities, yes, he probably is. We probably do need somebody like that. But I do not want to see John Terry in a Manchester United shirt as much as John Terry's mum would like to. I'm going to project what I want to happen rather than what I think is going to happen here. And I'm going to say a 0 out of 10 for John Terry to United. Please. Why is he wearing his bird's pants? That was the ins. This is the outs. Clearly, we're going to be talking about Paul Pogba. And as I said to you guys in the summer, none of you believed me, did you? I said there was a very real chance that Paul Pogba could have left Manchester United. Now, I don't think they got the offer that they was looking for. I don't think they got the players in that we could have replaced him with. But the fact remains that Paul Pogba had fell out with Jose Mourinho, and I think there's a very real chance, as you're seeing with all of the moves that are playing out. Listen, you have to try and read between the lines of everything that's going on here. So there was the bid that came in from Barcelona for a Mint Aero and a Twix. Wasn't ever going to get accepted. You see Raiola coming out and saying things about Paul Scholes putting Paul Pogba's name in there. That was calculated. You don't make the sort of cash that Raiola has made without being a little bit savvy. So that was a calculated move. Then you see Suarez and you see Piqué coming talking about Paul Pogba. That is what Barcelona do. Barcelona's MO when signing a player is it's normally Piqué as well. They get him to talk about him, and that's the wheels that are in motion. The 2 interviews last week from Paul Pogba, those are also things that are trying to stack things to make them happen. Now, the one thing that I think you really have to pay attention to is Jose Mourinho's come out and he's give Paul Pogba the captain's armband. He's distanced himself from anything that's making it look like he's the bad guy. Whether that's the truth or whether that's Jose trying to paint his own narrative, I don't know. But Jose has distanced himself to almost say as if this guy gets sold, it's not on me. It's either on the board or it's on the player. Jose Mourinho, like I said, giving me captain's armband, coming out and talking glowingly about him in press conferences, saying I've got no problem with him, I enjoy working with him, all of those sorts of things. There's games at play here on both sides of the fence, and I still think that Paul Pogba is going to be leaving Manchester United. It's just who can match the monstrous fee that we should be demanding for him. If it's Barcelona, you have to look at what Coutinho demanded, and it has to be in that kind of ballpark for a World Cup winning midfielder. If it's anybody else, it still needs to be in excess of £150 million, which means that there's probably 1 or 2 clubs in the world that can stump up that fee. Is it going to happen? I give it a 4 out of 10. Now, Big Sam's been in the press talking about Anthony Martial. Now, he's been saying that he doesn't think Anthony Martial deserves a new contract. Big Sam, who's had more clubs than Tiger Woods, doesn't have a pissing clue what he's talking about in this matter. Anthony Martial is one of the talents in the world. Now, he's never performed on a consistent basis. Are you sure about that? His first season, leading goal scorer as a teenager. Come on, Sam. Come on, Sam. I know you're better than this. He can perform on a consistent basis, but do you know what you need to perform on a consistent basis? You need picking on a consistent basis. Guess what? You're not scoring while you're on the bench, are you, Sam? Anyway, Anthony Martial, he has been offered a new contract by all accounts from Manchester United. Will he accept it? I don't know, because I don't think he wants to be here, or I certainly don't think he wants to be playing under Jose Mourinho. Can he outlast Jose Mourinho? Probably. Is it going to be enough for making him want to sign a contract? I don't know, but I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It's your man Sean Kearns again in the Metro. This time he's talking about Baye with a world exclusive, apparently. Now he's saying that Baye is worried about his future and he's going to demand talks with Jose Mourinho to find what's going on. I'll put this to you, Eric Baye, he should be worried about his future because at the moment, none of the Manchester United centre-halves are stepping up. Eric Baye, a couple of seasons ago, last season when he was playing, was the best centre-half at Manchester United and should be the best centre-half at Manchester United. But he's making the same mistakes that the rest of them are making at the moment. So they all need to step up a gear, and I include Eric Baye in that. I believe that Jose Mourinho's probably seen his arse a little bit with how often Eric Baye is injured, how he's unavailable for him a lot of the time. He should have played in the FA Cup final. We might have come back with an FA Cup if he did, but he didn't. And maybe that's one of the reasons that Jose Mourinho is looking at new centre-halves all over the show. So it's in the Metro, but I think he should be concerned. Is Eric Baye going to leave? I don't think he's going to leave, but I definitely think that his place as the first choice centre-half at Manchester United is under threat. Rate him leaving at 1 out of 10. Don't think he's definitely going anywhere, but he should be worried about his future. And we have a hat-trick. We've got a match ball on our way to Sean Kearns for this one because he's got Ander Herrera in. He's got 3 reports in one transfer review. This one's not an exclusive. He's kept a lid on this one. He's kept it cool. But you know what? It might be the only one that's actually got any sort of credence of truth in it whatsoever. And as Ander Herrera is willing to leave Manchester United, he's going to be open to talks. Well, of course he's open to talks. His contract is up next summer. And from January, he is able to go and talk to and agree a new contract with another club. I personally believe that he will be going. Whether that's in January, I think it's probably unlikely. I think this is going to be Ander Herrera's last season at Manchester United, and I expect he'll probably go back to Spain, or maybe he could even go to America. So if I have to give Ander Herrera a rating, I'm going to say 7 out of 10. No, 8 out of 10. This is Ander Herrera's last season at United. Don't think he's going anywhere in January. I think he will leave after the conclusion of his contract at the end of the season. That's it for Transfer Review this week. We are back with a full-time review after the Watford game, so make sure to keep it locked for that. We've also got the preview, we've got the debate, we've got all sorts of stuff, and we might even have something very special coming out this week as well, so definitely keep it locked and subscribe to Full Time Devils. And if you're looking for something else to watch right now, then I suggest you go and check out my Inter Milan video that I did this weekend, talking about Jose Mourinho's Inter Milan team and how this United team could replicate what they did in terms of playing style. I don't think we're going to win a treble, so don't put words in my mouth, you maniacs. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.